Google, what is my purpose? Hey everyone, Shanae Cartwright, success strategist. And if you're watching this today, it is by no accident. You have found this video because maybe you typed in the YouTube search, how to find my purpose or what is my purpose. Thank you so much for watching, and go on ahead and go on ahead and click the notification bell and subscribe, because I'm going to give you some tips that's going to help you to steer you in the right direction for helping you to find your purpose. And I can tell you this right now, that you won't find it on Google. You won't find your purpose on Google. You'll find maybe a lot of different tips and strategies, but you won't find your purpose just by going to Google. All right, everyone. Again, thank you so much for watching. My name is Shanae Cartwright, and this is Triple B Effect Brains Beauty and Business, where I empower everyone to be the best version of themselves by taking care of themselves so that they can be about their Father's business. I go by the name of Success Strategist, and I like to really empower people to be the best version of themselves. And what better way to do that than by helping you or empowering you to discover your purpose. Now, I can tell you this, that I don't have one straightforward answer that's going to help you discover your purpose right now. You're going to have to do some work, but I can tell you this, that when you are on the road to discovering your purpose, it's all about discovering yourself. All right? So if you are in that place of frustration, if you're in that place of seeking, searching, wandering, even maybe stumbling in the dark, trying to figure out, what is this thing called life all about, and why am I here? I want to let you know, be encouraged, because I've been there too. Be encouraged. And the people who may seem as though they have it all together, they didn't get there overnight. Everyone is on a journey of self-discovery, trying to figure out who they are and what that means for them. Okay? So be patient with yourself, love on yourself, and seek God in this process, because the best way to figure out who you are is by having a relationship with your Creator. That is what I believe. That's what I truly believe. But I want to get right into these tips that are going to help you to discover who you are, so that you can maybe stop stressing yourself out, that you can stop going on Google trying to ask Google what your purpose is, what your specific purpose is. There are hundreds of millions of Google searches a day, and I can assure you that you and whoever you are in your specific place, your hometown, if you're on the couch, if you're in the car, you're not going to just do one Google search and have an epiphany moment and say, that's my purpose. It's going to take a little bit more work than that. But number one, how did I find my purpose? Because that's what the title of this video was, and I really wanted to focus on how I did the work to find my purpose, so that maybe you can use some of these tips to try to figure out what it is that you need to do. Understand this, that purpose is discovered by exposure. This is what I know to be true. Your purpose is discovered by exposure. Have you ever thought to yourself, like, wow, if I didn't see this, or if I wasn't exposed to this, I would have never known that this existed? Think, for example, for that young child who may grow up, never seen a mansion, never seen, a nice community or nice neighborhood, green grass, mountains, never seen anything outside of just their little bubble. And that one moment where they are taken to a different place, that one moment where they're taken to a 5-star restaurant, that one moment where they're able to go to this fancy neighborhood where they see multi-million-dollar homes, that one place that they are exposed to. It could even be a sports game that they've seen it on TV, but they've never had the exhilarating experience of going to see their favorite Major League Baseball or their favorite basketball team live. That is discovery. And it opens up a whole new world for you. And this is what I've found to be true in my life. I remember as early as the age of 15, I had an opportunity to go to this program called Girl State. Girl State was a weekend adventure, a weekend opportunity for young girls. I think I was in high school, to go to this program where they basically expose you to politics on your level. So we were we were like 1,000 girls strong, and each one of us represented different cities, different towns, all across our state. But we all came together to pretty much play politics. And Girl State was an opportunity for me to see the inner workings of local government. We elected a mayor. We elected governors and senators. It was a very interesting process. And in this program that I was a part of, I found a flyer in my school. And from there, I was able to expose myself to different activities. And I'll never forget that in this opportunity of Girl State, for some reason, something within me told me, run for mayor. So as I said before, it was the inner workings of politics. There were mayors, there were senators, there were governors, so many different aspects and different pieces of what local government looks like. And they had different vacancies open for these positions. Me, my introverted self, even at that age, I made a decision to run for the mayor of my city, a mock political weekend. So I run for my city, the city of Preston. I'll never forget it. I ran for the mayor of my city, and guess what, y'all? I got it. And it was all because of this speech that I wrote. I was so full of vigor that I was excited to be exposed to something that I had never seen before in my life. Girls coming together to learn about government and politics and learning the inner workings of what it meant. But I was elected mayor of my city. And then from there, at the conclusion of our mock political experience, I was able to see Senator Mark Warner. I was able to even write another speech talking about my experience with Girl State. So from then, I thought early on that maybe I was going to be a politician. Maybe I was going to be the mayor of my city. Those were the thoughts that were going through my head. But what happened is that my exposure in this experience helped me to see that there was a gift inside of me, and that was the gift of speaking. I was encouraged so much that in this experience, the woman who facilitated the program, this whole entire process of Girl State, she affirmed my gift after I gave my big speech to over 1,000 people in the auditoriums in this program. There were parents present, mothers, fathers, siblings, my peers, and I spoke in front of over 1,000 people. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I do know that what I said was well received. There, a seed was planted in me. And because of that opportunity for exposure, my wheels began to turn as early as 15. Now, so what I'm basically telling you is that your purpose is discovered by exposure. And you have to ask yourself the question, what have I exposed myself to? What have I been exposed to, maybe by your parents or in school or different opportunities and on field trips? It starts when we are young. Those seeds are planted and they can take root. So it's very important that we pay attention to the seeds that have been planted early on, because they matter and it helps us to discover who we are. So that's number one. Your purpose is discovered through exposure. Number two, I share with you very briefly that in this opportunity to be a part of this program called Girl State, the woman who was over the entire program, she affirmed me after I gave my speech sharing my experience with Girl State. And I never forget her words. She said, "You did wonderful." Stopped what she was doing in the midst of the program and she said, "You did wonderful." And I just did what was in my heart to do. And it was there that a fire was sparked in me to start speaking. I didn't know where it was going to go, but I did believe that it was something to it. I put it on the back burner, but I held on to that. Purpose is discovered through exposure. And secondly, I truly believe that people around you will confirm and affirm your purpose by encouraging your strengths. You know that there are people in your life where they've said, "Oh, you do this wonderful," or "You know how to do this marvelous," or "Nobody can do this like you can," or "I really see something in you, how you've executed this gift," or "How you write this paper," or "How you cook this food," "How you have this love and care for animals." People will affirm and encourage your strengths. That is one indicator that you know that maybe you're on the right road to discovering your purpose. All right, that's number 2. Number 3, your purpose is not without, your purpose is within. I think it's all too often we are fed the hype and the lies that, you got to get a job, you got to get a job, you got to go to school, you got to get a degree, you have to do all these things outside of you to find out who you are. And there are many people, and I'm sure there's somebody watching right now who are miserable on their job. And I'm going to tell you right now, don't quit your job. If that is your bread and your butter, this is a PSA announcement in the middle of this. Do not quit your job. I know you're looking for a reason to quit your job. You're Googling right now. Don't do it right now. If you don't have savings and you've not prayed about it, do not quit your job. I feel like somebody needed to hear that. But we hear that, get a job, go to school, stay in school, do what you need to do. And so often we are fed the false narrative that your job is your purpose, that a degree is going to be fulfilling and it's your purpose, that your career or climbing the corporate ladder is your purpose. But I have come to find out very quickly that it does not matter how many degrees you have. You can have every degree imaginable and still be unfulfilled. I believe your purpose is what completes you in life. It helps you to understand that this is why I am here. I don't just exist because I was born and now I'm here and I'm going to work, live, and die. No, you exist for something greater than yourself. Your purpose is not without, it's within. And that leads me to my next point. Your purpose, or how I found my purpose, was by doing the work of self-reflection through self-discovery. Do you know who you are? Do you know who you are? What are the things that you like? What are the things that really invigorate you or make you feel passionate to the point where you want to be involved, that you want to get your hands dirty? Is it politics? Is it local government? Is it education, school? Is it cooking, culinary arts? Is it serving people? Is it being a caregiver? Your purpose is within you. So if you're an empathetic person, those are things that you have to think about. If you're a person who you really like creativity and the arts, that might be a clear indicator that you're going in the right direction. Think about those things, because you will find that there's a common theme and thread, but you will not know that until you get alone and get by yourself. Let me share this with you. I remember when I was dating, not dating, on again, off again. We go through those seasons, and I was in a place in my life where I felt like I had gone from relationship to relationship. There are seasons, or there are times in our life where we are just so driven and focused on being with someone else that we don't know how to be by ourselves. And we get so caught up in having a relationship and not being by ourselves and being the couple's goals, that we want to look cute, but we don't know enough about ourselves and what we offer in this relationship for it to even be successful. So there was a time in my life where I realized that I needed to just sit down and I had to really do some self-seeking and say, God, who am I? Who am I? Because obviously what I'm doing is not working. This is not working. And I feel incomplete. There are some voids, some emptiness. And I had to do some real self-talk, some real self-discovery, and figure out who God had called me to be, fearfully and wonderfully made. And even beyond the scripture, what are my likes? What are my dislikes? Can I handle being in a room by myself with myself? Do I get annoyed with myself? Some of you all are in a place where you don't even like yourself and you don't know why, but you don't spend enough time with yourself to discover who you are, what makes you tick, what are your gifts, your talents, your strengths, your weaknesses. So you're going to have to do some self-discovery. This is real talk, because the average person is not going to do this. They're going to tell you to do an assessment, to check off all these boxes, to write down your pros, your cons, all this stuff. And that's great, and that stuff can work. But what about the soul seeking? What about knowing your personality? What about knowing what makes you annoyed? These are all important on the path to self-discovery for knowing your purpose. So you're going to have to reflect and do the work. You're going to have to get alone by yourself. You're going to have to meditate on God's word. Know what God's word says about you and how you were created. That you're not inferior. That God has called you and created you. That you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You were made for a purpose. And you're going to need to have more quiet time and meditation to where you know exactly who you are. I had to take the time to really digest and know, okay, and some of these things may be character flaws. Knowing if you are a person that procrastinates. Are you a person who wants to work a 9 to 5? Are you a person who is just free-willed and free-spirited and you kind of like going at your own pace with your own flow? What are the things that you're passionate about? Are you passionate about community? Are you passionate about the well-being of others? Social matters, injustices. Those are things that you really need to know about yourself. Okay? And while I'm on that, I talked about you need to know and get quiet. Be careful about not comparing yourself to anyone else while you're on this journey. Because I think what happens is sometimes we will see people who are living it up and they seem like they have it all together. Please know and understand that anybody who is fully operating in their gifts and in their purpose, they had the same questions and thoughts that you have right now about finding who you are and finding your purpose. But they had to sit in it. They had to sit in it. And some people are still sitting in it and still trying to figure out, and still there are still pieces that are unfolding. It's like an onion that's layered. You're pulling back the pieces of this onion and you're going to get to the core eventually, but you're still pulling the pieces back. And that's okay, because as long as you're doing the work, that is okay. But please refrain from comparing yourself to anyone else. Just because they're operating in their gift, just because you see them on social media and it seems like everything's great and they're getting all these likes and they're making money or whatever it is that they're doing, or it looks like they're just happy, they have their family. Please know your life is your own life. And the path that God has you on is going to be different from anyone else. And the moment you choose to compare your life to someone else, basically what you are saying is that how God has created you, it is insignificant and it is not enough. Please stop it. Do not do that. Do not fall into the comparison trap, because what you have and what you have to offer and give to this world is completely different from anyone else. Here, be yourself in your fullness and accept who you are. Accept who God has called you to be. All right. Number 5. Because that was a little aside. Got a little sidetracked, but it's okay. We're going back. Number 5, look for opportunities to grow in. And specifically opportunities to grow in the areas that you've been affirmed the most. If you are in a place where you know that where the places and the areas that you've been affirmed in your life, like I share with you the life example that I have, that when I knew, okay, something about this speaking, is something about this public speaking that is resonating within me, you want to look for opportunities. So if it's something that you know that you enjoy doing, or maybe it's something that you don't enjoy doing, but it's something to it, look for opportunities. Look for opportunities so that you can grow in that area, so that you can really determine, is this the path that I need to take? Remember, I told you the first point was purpose is discovered by exposure. But if you don't have opportunities to grow in the areas that you've been exposed in and affirmed in, then how will you know this is it? So you may be a person who is an okay artist, and you pick it up and you put it down. You pick it up and you put it down. You have to be consistent in that area. Stick with it for a certain amount of time and see where it goes. Does it grow with you? Is it growing in you? Do you see yourself communicating messages through your art? Do you see yourself reaching people and becoming impactful with your art? Stick with it. Give it a certain amount of time. Maybe give yourself a deadline and help you to see, well, if this is where I think it's going, I'm going to stick with it. If not, then I'll cut it off at this point. I was licensed to preach. I was not in the place where I felt like this is it. I was still seeking and searching. But through the years, God has continued to affirm and confirm my calling as a speaker, as a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I had to allow those opportunities, when they came, I had to take those opportunities by the horns, and I had to just present my best self. I had to do the work. I had to do the research. I had to study. I had to pray and meditate on God's word and prepare myself for those opportunities so that when they came, I grew. It was a growing opportunity. Now, I will say this. There were opportunities that came that I was not ready and I was not prepared. And in doing that, it still stretched me. It still helped me to grow because I realized that this is something that I know God has placed on the inside of me and I'm not ready, then I'm doing myself a disservice and I'm doing others a disservice. So you really have to take opportunities as they come, jump on them, get prepared, be prepared, and you're going to know that you're going to have opportunities that you're going to feel like, oh my gosh, this was a complete fail. I'm going to do this overnight. There are people who are still being discovered. There are people who have been working at their craft and their gift for years, and people think that it's an overnight success. No, when we were asleep, when we didn't know that they were on YouTube, when we didn't know that they were on the top 100 charts, when they were nameless, they were working. So if you're, and I'm not saying this, don't get it mixed up. I'm not saying this about for you to be famous. I'm saying that to understand your purpose, it's going to take work. And no, you may have a purpose that no one ever knows you except for maybe the people in your immediate community, maybe the people in your state. But the point of the matter is if you work and live your life in such a way where you're looking to grow, that is what matters because your purpose is in you and it has to be pulled out of you. Number 6, understand, and this is going right into what we just talked about. Understand that purpose is less about you and it's more about the people you will impact. Let me say that again. Purpose is less about you and it's more about the people that you impact. We work to do what we do for other people. If you're in corporate America, the work that you're doing is not for yourself. It's not just for you. If you're in the healthcare field, what you're doing is not just for you. It is for the people you serve. If you are a pastor, a preacher, a minister, what you do is not just for you. It's for the people who are under you. It's for your congregants, your members. When you get to the place in your life where you understand that what you're doing is not for yourself, that's when you have come to a place of great awakening and awareness. Because no one writes a book just for themselves. No one writes a speech just for them to hear it. No one cooks a meal. If you're a culinary art and you're this great chef, no one cooks a meal just for them to just look at it. It is to be given to someone else. So when you think about your purpose in that way, that it's not about me, but it's about others and the impact on their lives, that's when you realize you're on the right path. That's how I realized that me speaking and me being in ministry and me being able to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ was not about me, but it's about the lives that I touch. It's about the empowerment, the encouragement, the hope that I share through the message of the gospels for the people. When you are at a place and you're stuck and you feel like, oh, I love what I do, but it's only serving you, then I can tell you right there, that's not it. That's not it. Get beyond you. Get beyond yourself. Get beyond the egotistical, just the self. When you get beyond self and your purpose serves others, that's when you know that's it. Your purpose should be serving others, not self-serving. Okay? And finally, I just want to leave you with this. And thank you so much for watching. If you've been watching this whole time, again, if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell. Let me know that this is content and information that has been helpful for you and that you need. But I wanted to share this lastly, that your job is a tool. So if you're in a position right now where you're really not feeling it and you really are in a place where you're just like, I'm ready to abandon ship, this is not it, God, I want to tell you to just be patient. That while you do the work, you're going to be worked on. Like I always say, a mind change equals a life change. I pray that you would put some of these tools and practices to work. And I look forward to seeing you again next time.